Hello and welcome to another episode of Jobless Weebs. I know which number is it, but anyways, my name is Marco, the Big Brown Mexican.
And I'm Brian.
Good to see you again, Brian, after
Oh yes.
like a 2-hour break that we had.
Yeah, it's good to be back again.
These ones are gonna be weird, because normally,
Yeah.
like every week we were like, "So how you been?" But it's like,
Oh right.
"Yeah, I mean, how was your lunch, though?"
Oh yes, how was your lunch? No new updates. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, I should have thought about this. About probably some of the animes that I talked on last episode, like the mangas. I should have saved one for this one.
Oh, for today.
Instead.
Oh yeah, for this one.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean,
well.
I guess that works out because we can
Yeah.
now jump right into the
That's right.
episode for today.
Yeah.
Because again, for today, we have a pretty similar topic from the one we had
Ooh yes, very
last
similar.
time of Makia.
Uh-huh.
And this is also kind of like parenting, or more like about motherhood. This is also about kind of like being authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
And-
Be your true self.
And and most of all, this is not an anime. So
Oh, that's right.
it's
That's
also that every now and then that we talk about not an anime.
Yeah, very rarely, but yes, we've done that from nearly the beginning of our podcast too.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Way
the
back
last one
to-
that we did that was not an anime was Orion and the Dark.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yep.
And before that,
Orion and the
I
Dark. Oh, I
cannot
like
think of,
that.
but we've done it some
That's
other
right.
times.
Yeah.
And
Like
like
we were
with
talking
Fallout, that's also not an anime.
Fallout, yep.
Yeah, we should probably start doing that a little more.
Yeah.
Granted, a few of those series are pretty long.
Oh
even,
yes.
Lengthwise,
Yeah. some
longer
of
than
them-
an anime. So
Mhm.
there's a reason also why we don't talk about some animes that have like 50 episodes.
Right.
Because
yeah.
we
That
can
would
barely
be-
remember 12.
Right. Yeah. That'd be a long. That'd be a long process to do. For sure.
But yeah, anyways, let's just start. The movie that we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about today, it's called The Wild Rabbit.
Yeah. Pretty popular.
It's still on theaters.
Oh, it is. Really?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe by the time this comes out, it hasn't been that long since it was removed
Ah,
from the theaters. I mean, I loved it.
yeah. It was. It was very entertaining.
Yeah,
I had
and
a kick out of it.
it was one of those that it's for kids, but it has a lot of stuff for the grown-ups to like.
Oh yeah.
Damn. And,
Yeah. And relate to. I
and relate to,
definitely-
or
I definitely had a fun time.
yeah, and it was weird that you have like a 30-year-old guy bawling his eyes out at a kids movie
Oh yes.
by
yes.
himself.
But it's, oh no. Right. Oh my.
But it was a good movie. Actually,
Yeah.
I liked it more than a lot of recent
Okay.
Disney movies. I liked it more than some like
Yeah.
Inside Out. Yeah, it was good,
That was
but
okay. Yeah.
but I don't know.
Uh-huh.
This one hit different.
It sure did. Yes.
Yeah, let's just start from the beginning.
Okay.
And from the beginning, we have it's a storm at a ship,
Yeah.
and more comments on that almost at the end. But
Definitely. Yes.
there's a typhoon,
Mhm.
and there's a shipment of something. We don't know what is it yet.
Yeah.
And until like that something, it's at the shore of an island
Uh-huh.
that we see some cute little otters,
Yeah. Little.
messing with it,
Yeah.
and
presses a button.
they turn
this-
on, and it's a robot.
Mhm.
It's a Roznium, kind of like a domestic robot.
Oh yes. Yeah. For like household needs and whatnot.
The robot, it's like, hey, I'm here to help, and
Yeah.
this robot, it's been washed away by the sea, the waves and everything, and
Yeah.
it's looking at the animals, like the crabs, how they're climbing.
Yeah, and the robot imitates the
Yeah, the
crab
robot
so it
imitates.
can
And
walk up the side.
well, you know, for the what was it, like for the first
It was a
10, 15
good,
minutes,
yeah,
it
15
was
minutes, I'd say.
it was just a chaos,
Uh-huh.
because it was just this robot, you know, this domestic robot, just like advertising itself, like,
Yeah,
hey, I can help you with banking, like scenery, this, that, grocery shopping.
yeah,
and
landscaping.
and
Yeah.
she is being chased away
Oh
by
yeah, but all
the
these
locals,
animals. Yep.
by the local animals, because
Yeah.
this is a place where no human
Mhm.
is. And she's like, okay, one of the things to mention important about this movie, that it's important to the plot, it's that this is a very survival of the fittest
Oh yes,
setting.
yes, definitely.
Because, you know, like during the first 10 minutes,
Oh yeah.
there were a lot of that.
Yeah. Yep. Like a crow, and then a cat, like a wild cat, eats a crow, and then yeah.
Yeah, the
it goes
crow ate the
crazy.
butterfly, a
Oh yeah, yeah,
wildcat
the butterfly. That's right.
ate most of the crow except of the head. Then the head
Oh
is
my
grabbed by
gosh.
someone else, and they're just
Uh-huh.
like cats and dogs
Oh yeah,
fighting.
literally. Yeah.
And this robot, it's clearly confused because
Yeah.
it's not the environment that it should be at.
Right. Because it's trying to offer help with domestic, like human needs and things like that. So yeah, totally out of its nature, uh, and it's like clearly trying to find someone to help, but not succeeding in that.
And so what it does is that it
Uh-huh.
goes to learning mode, and it,
Yeah.
you know, a few days, maybe weeks pass,
Mhm.
and she actually figures out the language.
Yeah.
She crosses
All
this
the
language
animals.
barrier.
Yeah.
However, you know, it is show how, despite her overcoming the language barrier,
Uh-huh.
there's one more thing, that it's more like a cultural barrier now.
Oh yes, because when she gets up and starts walking around again, everyone says like, "Oh, monster, monster!"
Are you here to
Run
kill us?
away.
Negative. I'm here. It says no.
Yeah. Oh, oh, right, right. Yeah, and so yeah, it's really hard for the robot to adapt to this, even with the language learned of all the animals. It's like not. It's still not finding its place to be.
This robot has a purpose. Its purpose is to do stuff.
Mhm.
Get someone else to tell her what to do.
Mhm.
And so she's just going around the island looking for things to do. Still, even though, you know, again, she understands, like, there are problems, they're still hurting her in a way.
Ah, yes.
And then she kind of like resigns herself, like, okay, yeah, maybe it was a mistake that I'm here, and I'll just have to
Yeah,
go back.
yeah. With
And
the
as
transmitter.
she's trying to activate her transmitter
Mhm.
to go back to the factory, it is stolen, I think, right?
Oh yes, by the raccoons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is stolen by the raccoons. The raccoons are messing up with
Yep.
all her internals. She manages to send them flying
Oh yes.
in a very cartoonish way,
Oh, very, very. Yep.
except for the transmitter,
Oh yes.
which ends up with a raccoon. Man, I freaking hate raccoons.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh.
I mean, there have been another movies where the raccoon is kind of like one of the kind of good guys, but it's like, man, I cannot bring myself to like those guys. They're like,
Still. Nice.
but anyways,
Yeah.
leaving my bias aside, one of these raccoons ends up entering the bear's cave, and you know, he just runs away. Ross, or this robot Roznium, recovers the transmitter and start being chased by this freaking grizzly bear. And while she's making her way out,
Mm.
she kills a goose
Oh, yes.
that was at a tree, and also ends up killing some of the eggs that the goose laid,
Yeah.
except for one.
Except for one. Yeah.
So, as a robot, and I see it do, this as a robot, as a sign of, like, these machines that are created to preserve life.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
she was keeping the
Facilitating
egg.
life. Yeah.
It gets stolen by a fox.
The fox. Yeah.
And
And the robot still tries to chase the fox, tries to catch it and stuff, um, until uh, until it hatches, essentially, and then uh, the gosling looks at the robot and imprints on her.
right, because
Yeah.
that's nature taking its course.
That's right. Yeah.
And so Ross thinks, or the android thinks, that, okay, that
Oh, right.
how is my job task completed? Like, you were born successfully. Now the rest is not my problem. Good
Right.
day, sir.
Right.
The duckling follows her, and she's like,
Yeah.
okay, time to continue with the return to factory. And as
Oh,
she's
yes.
like sending the signal,
Uh-huh.
the little gosling breaks the transmitter, and
Oh, gosh.
and Ross, the android is like,
Yeah.
okay.
Poor
And she's trying to avoid the gosling,
Mhm.
but then we get introduced a possum,
Yeah.
and this possum is taking a walk with his 7 baby possums.
Yeah, the baby possums. And yeah, she is a funny character. Such a funny character. She basically comes upon the robot and sees the robot is taking care of this gosling. And
Well,
oh, right, not trying not to take care of this gosling, right? And so the possum, she has a very unique personality where she's taking care of her kids, but she's always like, oh, like they're a hassle, and they are really hard to take care of. But then
quick, play dead.
yeah.
You're not dying fast enough. It's meningitis, okay? It takes time.
A while.
What are you?
Oh man, it's so funny.
But yeah, this possum speaks the truth to Ross, because Ross is
Yeah.
like, it's just following me. It's like, yeah, that's called being a mother.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't know what you do, honey. None of us do.
We
Which-
just make it up.
Which
Yeah.
it's funny because
Oh,
as
yeah.
a kid you think
Oh
that-
yeah,
that your parents have everything figured out,
right. They have it all.
and you
Yeah.
know, internally they're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, as long
Yeah.
as they don't die, which is pretty much a setting in this movie.
Oh,
It's like,
yes,
as long as they
in
don't, like,
this
as a
movie,
mother
yeah.
of 7,
6.
6, as a mother of 6.
Oh man. Oh, it's so silly. Oh my gosh.
So, but
Yeah.
Ross is like, I didn't ask for this. It's like, welcome to my world. He's like, well, now taking care of this baby is your task. And Ross is like, okay,
Task
that changes
acquired.
things.
Yeah.
And she has 3 tasks: feed the baby,
Yep.
Teach him how to
Teach
swim,
them how to swim.
teach him how to fly, so that it can, fly away or
Uh-huh.
emigrate during winter.
Yeah, that's right. For during the fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and during during this period,
Oh yeah.
she successfully managed to not do any of those. Right after,
Oh
like,
yes.
she sends him to the pond.
Yep.
No good. She
Sends him
literally
up.
sends him flying. No
Yep.
good.
No good.
And we have the fox, and I like the fox. It was
Yeah.
it was a good representation, especially because
Uh-huh.
taking into account, mostly in anime, the fox has always been attributed to a liar, and
yes.
kind of like an immature a person that lies and tricks,
Yeah.
which maybe like overall that's the kind of feeling that you would get from a fox.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And some of that is portrayed by this fox in this movie. Um, the name is Fink for the fox. Uh, and yeah, Fink tries to eat the gosling and pretty much takes advantage of the robot at first
Yeah.
with like, oh, like,
You are
just
the
get the
destroyer
food here.
unit.
Oh, yep.
Relax. Like, my name is Fink,
Yep.
a local goose expert.
Yep.
He's like, I'm not relaxed. I'm not gonna eat it. Are you crazy? I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
eat it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely those streaks of character. And it, funnily enough, though, the fox does end up helping the robot, even after all those shenanigans. Uh, the fox eventually like digs up into the dirt a little bit, and grubs appear.
Yeah,
which the gosling
he
can eat.
he was not quite the father figure. He was
Yeah.
like the crazy uncle,
Yeah. Yes.
or like the laid back
Yeah.
uncle rather,
Impeccable. Yeah.
because he even says it. He's like, hey, I'm a fox. I do foxy things.
Yes.
He's like,
Yes.
that's my nature.
That's
My
my
nature is being a jerk, trick you,
Uh-huh.
like just so that I can get a benefit out of it.
Yeah. And I love the juxtaposition with the fox in its acting in its nature versus the robot acting in its programming, because it has these protocols and certain things it has to fulfill.
Yeah,
To-
of protecting life, and it's like, I'm a
Yeah.
robot. I do roboty things.
Robot things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And at the same
Great
time of
little
how the robot takes
action
everything
there.
so literal, because
Mhm.
it's a robot. It's
Mhm.
supposed to not have
Like
like
imagination
a
or
comprehension of emotions.
yes,
You can
of
program a
emotions.
machine to maybe act happy, but technology is not that far that they can actually understand what that emotion is like.
Yeah.
And so the robot asks him like, hey, so do you know how to do all of this? And the fox is like, I think that a good part of it, he wasn't lying for most of it.
Uh-huh.
For example, like, oh yeah, swimming is easy. I'm gonna like how my mom taught me, which I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yes.
If there would have been a prequel, there's like, swim, and just kick him and
yeah, right, because it's supposed to be this thing that
let me
just
tell
kinda,
you,
like,
a lot
comes
of
to
parents
you.
taught their kids how to swim like that.
Oh yes.
It didn't happen with me, but I saw it like a lot of times that
Oh
I was,
yeah.
I was at the pool and it was like, yeah, my kid doesn't know how to swim. Anyways.
Yep. Oh yes, I totally agree. Wow.
But yeah, Fink takes advantage of
Yeah.
of Ross's task,
Yes.
and just to like, yeah, you don't know, this is going great.
Yeah.
He's all fat.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have to fake it because I'm already. But yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what? Like, I don't see what's the problem here. Like, all the food here seems great, and
Right.
it happened with the
Oh,
honey. It
goodness.
happened with the seafood.
Oh yes.
And Ross is like, this is not working. The baby is not eating. And it's like, oh yeah, that. He just gets a few worms. And Ross doesn't understand the survival of the fetus kind of thing. World. And Fink just straight up tells us like, yeah, you know what? Kindness is not a survival skill. As in kindness, as in, it's a robot. Like the robot wants everything, everything to coexist with each other.
Yeah.
And we saw that at the beginning, of the scene when everyone was fighting.
Oh, yes.
She was like, "Oh, I come here with a conflict resolution package. I can help you out."
Yes, yeah.
And Fink is like, as he's throwing a crab into the boiling water, it's like, yeah, you know what? In here, either you eat or you're eaten. That's how it works. And it's like, and let me tell you about that little gosling. You just made a mistake because he should be dead. Essentially.
Oh yes.
Or his time, like he should have expired.
Should have expired, yeah.
Like the fact that he's here right now, it's Unprecedented.
Yeah, and he points out that the gosling is a runt, kind of like a runt of the litter, which is an odd thing since I didn't think there were like runts for ducks or
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I so that kind of was like a little weird to me, but the gosling is one apparently.
Hey,
Yeah.
they made it canon. But regardless of Ross has a task, Ross has to get it,
Yeah.
and also one of the tasks is name the baby
Oh yes.
because it's
Yeah.
still or like
Mhm.
and so Fink tells her like, well, you know what, like be creative, like get crazy, something. It's like, oh, okay, your name is Gosling 0, 1, 8, 9. Did you see what I did there? It's
Oh
out of
yep.
sequence. Ha ha
Yep.
ha ha. And
She
Fink
does that.
is clearly not impressed.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, no, no. Like, look inside something, like inside you. He's like, and the baby's name is Brightbill.
Yep. They named
And,
him Brightbill.
Ross starts doing here something
Mhm.
out of its programming. What happened next is that Ross proceeds to build a house
Ah yes.
because
The beaver house.
yeah, yeah,
But really, really big.
yeah, she
Really
took
big
the
house.
model of the beaver house
Yeah.
after stealing the beaver house.
Yep. Oh boy.
And this is another thing of parenting that as she's
Mm.
building the house, the little
Uh,
gosling is
oh
like,
yes.
I
Hey,
want
I
to
want
help, and
to
it's
help.
like,
Yeah.
no, your help is not necessary. You're gonna make everything go slower. And the little
But
gosling
I
is
want to
like,
help. Yeah.
it's okay, just a little sad though. It was like, oh man.
Oh, can't say no to that.
They finish the house. They get scared by the beaver,
Mhm.
and this next thing is also
Mm.
it's pretty cute. He's like, oh no, now he's not gonna sleep. Oh, how do we reset it? He's like,
Oh
you
yeah.
don't reset it, but I know what you meant. He's like, look, my mom used to rock me to sleep like this.
Yeah. Oh, that's the highlight of the movie. So freaking funny.
And like freaking Fink is like,
Oh
I
yeah.
know he was joking, but a part of me is like, I think he actually
He's onto something.
experimented
He's
all of
onto something here.
that.
Yeah. And yeah, oh, it's just so great because it shows that improvisation of being in a parent in a parent responsibility, but for the robot, it's just all new.
He tells the little
Mhm.
gosling a story,
Oh
a
yes.
really touching story,
Yeah.
and Ross is like, it's a pain in the butt, and he's like, no, Ross. He's like, that's not what you were trying to say. What you were trying to say is like,
I love you.
I love you.
Right. I love you. Oh, so
We have a time skip, freaking time skip.
time
It's
skips
like,
again.
you
Yep.
gotta love him.
Oh yeah. And the robot has been helping the Brightbill to learn all these different things. Now it's time to learn how to swim and of course fly too. And with the flying thing, she makes like a runway for running down and helping Brightbill to fly. But for the swimming specifically, there's a part when Brightbill tries to go out and like meet some of the other geese, uh, um, who are like the same age as him, but it doesn't work out.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're they're clearly bigger than him.
yeah.
They they
They can swim very
they look
well.
different. Yeah, they can
Yeah.
fly.
Uh,
And one of the things that I would like to highlight is
yeah.
uh Brightbill's behavior.
Oh yes.
It's and I guess it's easy to notice
Uh,
that, again, I'm not a parent, but that
right.
kids take after their parents in
Yeah.
how
Oh
they act.
yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's a very important part of their lives,
Uh,
like all the stuff that they mimic from their parents before they gain their personality.
Personality, yeah, yeah. Um, especially with Brightbill's way of like trying to greet someone, interspecies protocol initiating. Yeah,
Boop, beep,
it's
boop,
like
beep.
beep, boop, boop. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, yeah, exactly. It's that like it because kids are always watching. They're always watching their parents and everything else too. But it's all like um, non-spoken type stuff that they pick up on. Um, and yeah, it's incredible, like how they showed this in the Wild Robot.
Following this interaction with his species,
Oh yes,
that they just straight up reject him,
yeah,
and he's like, "Let's go, mom," and he's like,
yeah,
"Wait, you think that thing's your mom?" And he's like, "Yes, no,
yeah.
maybe."
Maybe right, and
And
now he's trying to go away, but then
and you know, it's like
Ross is
that
also
freaking
like,
rebellious phase of like
yeah,
freaking Ariel is like,
oh, freaking Ariel, dude. Yeah,
but
seriously,
but it's like, yeah, you know what, that thing killed your mom,
yeah.
and you know, I guess
So there's a little bit of conflict there.
I guess the cat's out of the box
Yeah,
now, because
cat's out of the bag. Yeah,
the bag, yeah. Well, you know,
right.
because my cat was shooting hers, so.
Oh, okay. Wait, what? Oh my! Wow.
Anyways,
Oh yes,
that's
yes.
that's a smart person joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Where was I?
Um,
Right. A
Yes.
conflict arises,
Conflict arises. Yes, that's right.
and Brightbill just confronts Russ. Just
Yeah.
like, "Hey, why didn't you tell me?" It's like, "Well, I thought you wouldn't notice." Kind of like it was not important for the task. You were my task.
Mhm.
I still need to teach you. And it's like, no. You're done with your task. Like I don't want to see you.
Yes,
Ross
yeah.
goes into uh for counseling
Oh, yes.
with some of the other robots that were washed ashore.
Oh yes, yeah. She finds one that's uh like really covered with like moss and all that stuff, missing an arm, and yeah, she starts to like interact with this robot, to like learn a little bit more about what she's doing, and it turns out that yeah, been Ross has been rewriting some of her code and programming, and then the robot ultimately says, "Hey, like you need to go back in and be
You're defective.
reprogrammed. You're defected. Yeah, you gotta be fixed now." Um, Ross takes the transmitter, and so now has a working one again.
Yeah, and it is after she talks
Mm.
with Fink
Oh yes.
that is like, well, you know what, I know I have to go back,
Mm.
but I'll just finish my current task,
Mm.
and then I'll leave.
Yeah.
Uh, and not important to the plot, but you know, Fink was like, you know, yeah, he has to let us help him. We're his only friends. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
cannot say no.
He
No. How dare he?
How dare he? Yeah, he just straight up no. Oh, so funny.
But yeah, you know, ultimately,
Yeah.
he kind of like accepts the help.
Yeah.
Ross starts analyzing more about, like, you know, the fly patterns of the geese.
Yeah.
They get some help from Hawk.
Yeah. On how to fly.
Yeah, and you know, I like
Yeah.
this. I like this part because you know, like Brightbill struggled to fly,
Yeah.
which is something that should have come naturally
Yeah.
for him.
Uh-huh.
And you know, and yet he struggled for that. And Ross mentioned something that was like, whatever they can do, you can do it too.
Oh yes. Yes.
Which, you know, great phrase.
Yeah.
And he starts trying and trying, he gets better. He gets
Mhm.
pretty much a tutor,
Oh yes, yep, yep.
and a tutor of a different species,
Mm.
but that somehow had the same limitation as him
Mm. I
in
see.
regards to the size.
Oh, okay, I see, I see.
Because like,
Yeah,
it was a hawk. He like
yeah,
his wingspan was definitely shorter
shorter.
than a goose,
Uh,
and well, gooses are just jerks as well. But
oh well, yeah.
but yeah,
Okay, okay.
it
Yeah,
starts training him. He gets
yeah.
better,
He
and
learns how to dive bomb also, which is kind of a non-goose thing to do.
oh yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. He was ready to fly as a predator,
Yeah. Yes. Pretty interesting thing.
because
Yeah.
that's how hawks
Hunt.
hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Basically.
just dive and like.
Yep. That's right.
uh,
That's right.
and so at that point in time, the alpha goose, or
Ah,
the leader,
all
I'm not that versed in
right. All
goose
right.
hierarchies,
Yeah.
but the alpha goose
The other
talks
goose.
with Ross and
Mhm.
tells her like, well, I Brightbill, it's out of the ordinary. We
Yeah.
like that's unheard of. Like on this world, on our setting, he was supposed to be a snack.
Yeah.
He was not
Runt.
supposed to make it this far.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm willing to take him
Mhm.
because like whatever length his wings span, he more than makes it up with the
All
size of
right.
his heart.
Sounds fun. And he
But his
tells
heart is 48.
48 millimeters. Oh gosh. Ross is so literal. um. Oh yes, and then the hawk. No, no, no. Sorry. The alpha goose then tells Ross if he works on his endurance until the time we leave, then yeah, he can come along with us too.
Right.
So he just needs to work on being in the air all day until uh until like dawn until dusk, and then we can take him.
Yeah. And it was just funny because
Yeah.
that dude, it was one of those grumpy old
Yeah.
dudes that are somehow still lovable. That they're like
Yeah.
always grumpy, but they're like a nice
They're
type of
nice.
grumpy. It's like, yeah, we don't
Yeah.
trust anyone, but we're great conversationalists.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
No.
No. Oh
But it
right,
was like,
right.
anyways,
Oh my.
you
Oh
do
wow.
that, and
Yeah.
and then we'll see. And
Yeah.
and during this time is
Oh my
is the
goodness.
climax of the movie,
Mhm.
where we don't have dialogues. It's just the soundtrack going
Yeah.
like all out loud,
Yeah.
and you're like having the feels, and it's like, oh man, he can do it, he can do it. And when he's about to give up, he receives
Oh
positive
yeah. Pep talk
a positive pep talk
from Possum.
from the possum mom, and she's
Yep.
like, get your butt out in the air where it belongs. And he's like, oh my.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
like, yeah, that's a mom talent.
Yep.
You're like, oh, okay. Like I could imagine that she had like a freaking chancla, and it's like,
Ooh yeah.
get the freak out of there. And but
Oh goodness.
yeah, the task is completed.
Yep.
He learned how to swim. He learned how to fly. He got the endurance, and winter's coming.
Hmm.
He joins the squad. The
Oh yeah.
How is a group of geese called?
A flock.
A flock? Is it a flock
I
still?
think just a flock.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, he
Or
joins
a gaggle. I think they're.
a gaggle. I've
Yeah.
never heard that word in my life.
Oh yes, yeah, a gaggle of geese. I think. Let me look this up.
Okay, yeah, because I'm
they
not gonna
have
be
a
able to
specific
sleep
name.
if I don't know.
Yes, it's a gaggle when they're on the ground, and then a team or wedge when they're flying. Oh, I did not know that. At least.
Interesting.
But yeah, gaggle of geese on the ground at least.
So okay,
Funny thing,
so yeah,
yeah.
the alpha geese invites Brightbill to join his team
Yep.
on the flight, and they have a heartwarming farewell, in which he's
Yes.
like, "Hey, I can use the boost like
Yeah.
one last time."
Oh,
You
it's so
know,
nice. Yep.
she runs together on that little runaway,
Yeah.
and he goes, and now her task is complete. She can activate now the
The transmitter.
transmitter
Ooh,
to
yes.
go back to the factory.
Yeah.
But before that, she has a conversation with Fink again,
Yeah.
which very emotional,
Oh,
because
yes.
she asks Fink like, "Hey, how?" And
Oh,
and
yeah.
and this was also emotional because
Uh-huh.
there was no eye contact. It was both of
Oh.
them looking at the distance, meaning that
Uh-huh.
they were kind of like not ready to have that conversation, but it was the type of conversation that needs to to happen.
Oh, I see. I
And he's
see.
like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Fing, how do you know if you love something or someone?"
Someone.
And he's like,
Mhm.
"Well, you just tell them. And what if
What
you're
if
too
it's
late?"
too late? Oh,
And Fing is like,
no.
"I wouldn't know."
Yeah.
And he goes away because he's like, "Oh, you're leaving too." Finch has been left alone.
Yeah, essentially.
And so yeah, the transmitter, it's activated. Then we are moved to the flight, to the team of geese,
Oh,
that
yes.
they entered a facility.
Yeah, where other robots are working on crops and doing like routine checks on the plants, and then unfortunately, Brightbill thinks that one of them is Roz, and goes up to the robot and says like, "Hey, it's good to see you. Like, what are you doing here?" But then it turns out, of course, these are just other robots
Yeah,
that
there are the
humans are
Rosniums.
using. Yep, the geese
Dude,
are.
freaking humans.
Oh yeah, the
It's like, yeah,
humans are
you
terrible at
have
this
you
time.
have this facility
Yeah,
which
and
with
it's closed off, and it's like in a
lots of food and
yeah.
everything, but somehow you
Uh-huh.
also have like freaking war androids with
Seriously.
lasers. It's like, what are you even
Yeah,
protecting
freaking
there?
lasers, right? And so
I
they create havoc in this place.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
um
crazy.
Brightbill leads the
Uh-huh.
teams,
Oh
um
yes, yeah,
as he's about to be shot. Ross wakes up
yes.
because
Oh
he's like, "Brightbill," and she sees Fink. She scares the crap out of Fink.
yeah. Oh yep. Yeah.
And Fink is obviously happy. He's like, "I thought you left." It's like, "Well,
Yeah.
I deactivated the transmitter." It's like,
Mm,
look at you being
mm.
all bad. How does it feel?"
Going against the book.
But and yeah, the next thing that happens is that this is a terrible winter,
Yeah.
and they start rescuing a lot of these animals,
Yeah.
like most of them.
Yeah. Most of the animals. Yep.
Like,
One by one, like
yeah,
the
it's like, "What are you doing here, you jerk?" "Bummer, this
bummer.
one's dead."
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, yeah. She rescues the possums, the
Yep.
squirrels, the freaking raccoons, the
Raccoons, the deer.
otters,
Oh yeah, the
the
cute little
deer, the
otters.
elk,
Yeah.
the bear,
Oh
and
yes, at the very end. Yeah,
and
the very
it's
last.
just mayhem in there,
Yeah,
because it's predators, and you
and
just
their food supply.
they're out golden corral, and it's all you can eat.
Oh gosh. Yep. Uh, and then Fink sees this and basically gives a raising like a great speech on, hey, like I know we hate each other and
Stop
we're
behaving
food
like
supplies,
animals, you
you
animals.
animals. Yep, basically, and tells them, hey, just calm down. We'll go through this winter, even though it's really bad. We're just gonna um, take it easy, and then everybody kind of agrees with it, which I thought was it's just weird to be that part. I don't know why it just didn't really work for me when everything was like all hunky dory. I don't know why. Of course, it's part of the movie where it's like,
Right,
oh,
right,
everything
right.
is
You know,
coming
it's the
together, and it's
humane
supposed to be
part
human. Yeah, humane and
of the
working
movie.
together.
Because yeah, obviously we know that under normal circumstances,
Yeah,
animals would just balance out at
yeah,
each other's throats.
right, right.
But it's like, you
It
know
wouldn't
what?
happen like
Indeed,
that.
in that part they humanize it a little bit, kind of like saying like,
Yeah.
well, you know, in a regular society where a lot of people hate a lot of some other people, and that some
Ah,
other people also hate that other people,
yep, yep.
there's a sweet point where they can just take a chill pill
Oh yes, yeah.
and just, you know, coexist, which,
That's true.
you know, we could use it
Oh, we could,
a lot
yeah.
of times. And I, you know, I don't
Yeah.
want to call out anyone.
Oh yeah.
But it's like that was the humanizing part of like, hey, you know what,
Definitely,
you have your
definitely.
differences, like different culture, yeah, this is eat or be eaten,
Mm-hmm.
but in this kind of setting of like
Yeah.
we have some other external factors that want to kill us.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
like,
get along for now.
yeah, kind of like truce.
Yeah.
And so,
That's
you know,
fair.
the
Yeah.
bear is like, fine, I won't eat anyone. It's like, you're a bird, you're gonna hibernate, you're not supposed to eat anyone.
No.
That's why you're
right,
fat
yeah.
during
Oh
like
yes.
that's why you get fat during winter.
Oh
And you know,
yes.
he just grabs a beaver like a
Oh,
plushie.
yeah. Oh,
And the
goodness.
beaver is so freaked out. The beaver is like
Yeah. Oh, silly. So silly.
but yeah. Winter passes.
Yep.
Ross has a lot of moss.
Yeah.
She wakes up. She sees Brightbill, how Brightbill is finally fitting in with the group.
Yeah.
And she feels happy, satisfied, but at the same time she feels like this loss of like, I'm pretty sure of every parent after they see like, their kids, that you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
the kid decided just to start living by himself or work and stuff. And
Right.
and I think that that's especially true for moms.
Oh yes.
Maybe not so for dads. Or
yeah.
at least we think of the father as more, of a thick skin.
Oh
that
yes.
they're
yes,
like,
yes,
yeah, I don't care, you better get out of my house.
Right.
And mom is like,
right.
oh no, my baby is like,
Okay.
Mom, I have 30 years old.
Oh yes.
You should let me go now.
Yo. Yeah. True.
Things seem to be fine,
Yeah. Definitely.
but not so quite,
Yeah.
because freaking flying ship
Yeah.
uh,
Comes out.
comes for Russ, and here
Yep.
is what one of the plot holes that I see, that is like, why in the freaking world did Ross and those other 5 robots got lost in a typhoon? Because they were in a in a ship,
right, when they could have
been
like
delivered
this.
on those freaking
yeah
things.
that is
It's
a
like,
weird point for sure.
and it's like, it's like, okay, I know it's a kids movie, don't think too much about it.
Yeah, or it's how it
You're like, yeah, it's a kid
happened to
movie,
be
and
like-
you're a 30-year-old guy talking about the movie.
Yep.
You see the discrepancy here, and
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, let's put that aside and continue with the movie. This flying ship comes, and this really freaky rabbit that looks like a
yes.
squid,
Yep, all the tentacles and stuff. Oh yeah.
meets Russ, and just like, hey, you've been really naughty,
Yeah.
because we got your
Time to go
signal,
home.
and then we lost it, as if a very bad rabbit just turned it off.
Mhm.
You don't know anything about that. Nah. Okay, anyways, let's go. Yeah, I left the oven on, so I'm just gonna turn it on, turn it off, and I'll come
be
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not lying. It's like, your voice is broken. You're clearly, and Fink is like, you're lying your
You're
butt
lying your
off.
butt off. Yep.
Just to kind of like close off this part of the scene,
Oh yes.
Robert goes crazy,
Yep.
goes ballistic, and sends a bunch of those killer robots that we
Yeah.
saw earlier.
Yep. The military grade ones.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Like
What's
why
with
in
that?
the
It's like,
world?
what do you want to do with those things?
Right. Man, it's crazy stuff.
What was the name of the company? Universal Dynamics, right?
Yes,
It's
Universal
like,
Dynamics.
damn.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, what do you want to
Crazy.
do with those freaking robots? Like that's yeah,
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, they start fighting, and they do really really well against the robots. And then
Are you here to kill us? It
he said
says yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they do pretty good against the robots.
Yeah.
I mean, not good enough because
Ah yes.
Universal Dynamics is a ship starts
Mm.
burning the island. And,
Yeah.
even though they managed to neutralize those military grade robots,
Mm.
they
Yeah.
still end up taking Ross.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that felt like
Uh-huh.
super villain move.
Oh yes.
That they wanted to find out why Ross was able to
Oh yes. To
communicate with the
communicate.
animals, and it's like,
And
we didn't know
rewriting
that
the
was
program.
possible. And it's like, you guys implemented a learning mode. It's like, you
Mm.
honestly never really thought about that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, a little bit of odd things going on there.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was one of the things. The other thing is that this robot had started to go against its programming.
Right.
Because he was just rewriting it.
Yeah.
For God knows how many months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ross is taken. She was beginning to have her memories deleted.
Oh yes.
No, without them having a backup first.
Yeah. And then Brightbill is able to get all the geese and fly around the ship, and it's kind of hard to imagine what geese flying birds could do to a ship, but anyway,
well
it does work.
I think there have been some records of birds flying towards planes, and in some cases
really?
they do manage to crack
the glass. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I stand corrected. And so they do manage to crack the glass until Brightbill is able to dive bomb into the ship itself, and goes over to Roz. Unfortunately, it seems like it's too late. Ross is kind of like down already, but then Brightbill is able to wake her up again by saying "I love you," and then the robot
and
says,
like,
"Yeah,
oh
I
man, my
love you
heart."
too." Yeah. Oh, I can't take any more of this. Yeah, it's too sweet.
Yeah, Ross wakes up.
Yep.
They are on their way to escape from the ship.
Yeah.
Freaking mechanical Squidward.
Yeah.
Is like, no, we're gonna come back for you. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back for you.
Yep. The voice thing. Oh, jeez.
And they are up in the air, hundreds of feet in the air, and Ross wants to protect Brightbill, and so she takes her battery core.
Yeah.
And Brightbill is like, what are you doing? I thought you needed that. He's like, no, I have everything I need here. And he's like, oh man. It's like, it's like, now I kind of see what when they say that parents would take everything from them just to give it to their children.
Oh,
and,
yes,
and,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
she put a Brightbill inside of her.
Yep.
And she just redirected all her energy to, I guess, kind of like her
External power.
external power core or something like.
Yeah.
And yeah, she died,
Yeah.
and in the meantime, all the other animals were trying to put down the fire, so they went
Yeah.
with the beaver, who
Yep.
had this really crazy project of of tearing down the biggest tree in the island, and he was thought as crazy, and and everyone was like, dude, you gotta help us. Like, okay,
Yeah.
but I want apology. I want apology from all of you. We're sorry. Good. Now, Fink, I want you to say that I'm cool.
Without
Fink!
Yep.
They managed to throw the biggest tree in the island down, and it
Redirects the water
from the river. Then they see Ross and Brightbill. They are okay, and they just start reconstructing. Ben Ross is like, well, this is not gonna end well. And it's like, well, we'll freaking fight him together. And they're like, no, I'm gonna protect you, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but they're gonna delete. Like, it starts all of this emotional process again.
Yeah.
And how they say, like, they're going to delete who you are, essentially. And you're like, no, because when they caught my power supplied, you called me, and I still heard you.
Yeah.
So it's fine. They fixed everything up. Everything went back to normal. Finn got kind of like opened up himself a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I don't have friends, and everyone hates me, and I hate everyone.
Yep.
But it's like, what's happened? Like, what if I want to talk with someone? And the bear is like, you can talk to me. And the possum mom is like, you can also talk to me.
Yeah.
And the beaver was a tsundere. And it's like, you can talk to me. Or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not like I like you or anything.
Yeah.
They take Ross away. And next winter, another time skip.
That's right.
All the animals, they make that tradition of like,
Oh yeah.
I see what you're coming from. It is like, oh, that sounds pretty
right,
unrealistic. And it's like, again, Brian, this is my argument that I give.
It's a cartoon.
It's a kids movie. Don't
That's
think
right.
too much about that. And yeah, they are watching TV.
Yeah.
from one of the heads of the Rossums.
Yep.
And they are like reading the catalog, and it's a story, and it's like, once upon a time in an island like this, there was a monster, and its name was Ross. And it's like, oh, but where is it? Well, Ross was needed somewhere else. And we take a look back at Brightbill one more time.
Oh yes.
And
in the facility.
This facility seemed to be a little more chill with animals, at least.
It did. It seemed like it. Yeah.
But yeah, Ross is there, kind of like checking on apples. She's just a person, and she's like, "Hello, I'm Ross 0147 or something like that, right?"
So something like that. Yeah. 7134. Yeah.
And then she sees Brightbill, and she calls her like, "But you can call me Ross." She's like, "I'm not gonna cry."
That be. Yeah.
But
it was a touching ending.
It was a great movie because I like right after I watched it, I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna call my parents."
Oh yes, yeah.
But oh boy, yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
It
was pretty fun.
Yeah, next
some of the lines are hilarious. Gotta see them.
Definitely, yeah. The comedy was gold.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So yeah, next time we're gonna talk about when they cry.
Oh no! Oh gosh. No,
or Uzumaki or something.
Oh no! Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no.
That would scar me for life.
Yeah, no. We don't know that yet, but
Okay.
maybe not. No, definitely not.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, like
Oh,
that
God.
that's the kind of thing that we should have talked, because
Yeah?
like today, like it's just we're November 1st as we're recording this. So it's like but it's like we never go with the times. Like it's really weird when we actually post something on today. Like for example, when we talk about Talkie Grandfathers on last Christmas.
Yes, for Christmas.
It's like we nailed that one, but
We did.
all the other times we're always
out of sync.
terrible sync. But yeah, anyways, that was the movie. It was a great movie. I really loved it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, look for it somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in Netflix eventually, or Amazon Prime Video, most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Keep watching anime. We'll see you next time.
Matane.